Most kids grow up and want to become superheroes like Spider-Man or Batman. But as you grow up, you realize that that is a kind of unattainable goal. But what if I told you that you could become a superhero if you learned how to stop a major bleed? I bet you would take those chances. So today, I'm going to teach you how to stop a major bleed. But first, I will show you what materials you will need, how to stop the bleed, and why this skill is beneficial to society. Let's rip off the Band-Aid and see exactly what materials you need to stop a major bleed. First thing that you will need is some packing gauze. You will also need some medical gloves. You can buy a whole box of these and be able to use them over and over again. You can also use a tourniquet, but this method is not the best one. And the last material you will need is your hands. A tourniquet costs about $25. This is the most expensive part of the kit, but it's not needed. A whole pack of gloves costs about $7 to $9 at Walgreens. And a whole pack of packing gauze costs $5, but you'll probably need more than just one. This whole kit costs under $50. That is such a small price to pay if you are going to be able to save somebody's life with this kit. Now I'll be demonstrating to you how to pack the wound. You're going to want to put on your gloves because you're dealing with blood, and blood is a very dangerous substance and could leave you, the fixer, with some problems yourself later on. You're then going to want to take your packing gauze and start packing the wound, just like this. You're going to want to put it in every single crevice because the blood is coming from somewhere in there and you don't know where. So if you pack it all, then you're sure to get it. You're going to keep packing until it's impossible to keep going. After you're done with packing, you're going to take the rest of the gauze and put a ton of pressure on it because that will help stop the bleed. If this method doesn't work, then you will take your tourniquet and you're going to want to put it above the wound. So if the wound is right here, you're going to want to put it up here. You're then going to pull it super tight and Velcro it. Then you're going to turn the tourniquet as hard as you possibly can. Keep on turning, and then when you physically cannot turn it anymore, you're going to put it into this section right here, and then put over the Velcro piece to make sure it's 100% in place. And then you're going to write the time so that when the paramedics come, they know exactly when you put it on. The tourniquet is not the recommended method because it could result in a lost limb. WebMD says that when you're packing your wound, you don't want to remove any of the gauze because that will cause blood clots. Now that you have learned all of the methods on how to pack a wound, I will be explaining to you why this is important for society. Saving a life is something that we should all know how to do. If you're in an emergency situation, you won't want to be asking, how can I help? Instead, you want to know exactly how you can help. And knowing how to stop a major bleed is just the right method. No one wants to be in a situation where they're stuck next to somebody bleeding out right next to them. But sadly, in our life today, that is a reality that could become. So knowing how to pack a wound is going to save maybe not only somebody else, but could possibly save yourself. The Stop the Bleed booklet says that uncontrolled bleeding is the #1 cause of preventable death from trauma. If we knew how to pack a bleed, and a lot of people knew how to pack a bleed, then that number would decrease tremendously and almost no deaths would be caused by bleeding out. Now that I have taught you this amazing skill, you can be a superhero and fulfill your childhood dreams. Today I showed you what materials you would need to pack a wound, how exactly to stop the bleed, and why this skill is beneficial to society. You should take the next step and become Stop the Bleed certified. That way, you have no question on whether or not you know how to stop a bleed. Thank you for listening.